Ctv3 News. Hours before Beryl makes landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula, Norteños prepare for tropical storm force winds. Corozal, to be mostly impacted by Beryl, will show you how residents prepared to weather the storm. Amidst the storm, there is prize gouging in San Pedro, and participants of the Orange Walk Central's annual summer camp work out with the Prime Minister. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, July 4th, 2024.
Choose a side.
We fight for our queen!
Declare for the Greens or for the Blacks.
Hold to your courage for the one true King Aegon!
Driven by family feuds, the Targaryen civil war in House of the Dragon is split between Greens aligned with Alicent and Aegon Section and Blacks who support Rhaenyra in claiming the Iron Throne.
War is coming. And neither of us may win.
Pledge your allegiance. Watch House of Dragons Season 2 on Max.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Hurricane Beryl is now a Category 2 storm as it heads towards Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula after hammering several Caribbean islands, including the Cayman Islands and Jamaica, with heavy rainfall and powerful winds. The forecast is that Beryl will unload damaging winds, torrential rainfall, and dangerous storm surge over a significant portion of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, a popular tourist area, as it makes landfall into Friday morning. As of the latest advisory, it was located 215 miles east-southeast of Tulum. It was moving west-northwest at 20 miles per hour with 110 miles per hour winds. As Hurricane Beryl approaches the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, there is a possibility that tropical storm conditions may impact the northern part of the country. Hence, we remain under a tropical storm watch from Belize City to the border. With Beryl being an unpredictable phenomenon, the National Meteorological Service of Belize is monitoring the system closely, and according to the last update, Beryl has its own fight with the wind shears.
The system was located near latitude 19.5 degrees north, longitude 84.3 degrees west, and that puts it about 278 miles to the northeast of Corozal town. Beryl was moving to the west-northwest at 20 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 110 miles per hour. The forecast is for Beryl to continue on a generally westward to slightly north of west track for the next few hours and make landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico in about 12 to 18 hours. Currently, the system has weakened, as you can see. It's now a Category 2. However, I asked to share screen because, as you can see from the imagery that I am displaying, I hope you can see it, but there's an eye wall forming to the north, and there's the appearance of an eye forming once again. That is typically an indication of re-strengthening. So it appears that Beryl is fighting against wind shear due to the very warm waters, as we had discussed previously, is trying to win over with some re-intensification. There's a possibility that at the next advisory, it may be back up to a Category 3. I don't know yet, but that eye wall formation and an eye forming there is an indication that the system is trying to regain some strength. So this is our local radar, of course, from the National Meteorological Service. And what you're seeing there are bands of showers coming into the country in association with Beryl. We already had a band passing this morning. We have a few more coming in over the country at the moment. We have some forming offshore, and we expect these bands of showers to continue to come into the country, showers and thunderstorms, as Beryl approaches the Yucatan Peninsula. We still remain under a tropical storm watch, not a tropical storm warning, a tropical storm watch from Belize to the northward to the border with Mexico, including, of course, the islands of Ambergris Key and the Key Cocker. We expect that tropical storm sustained winds will not be felt in neither areas. However, we may have gusts in these squalls, in these bands, to tropical storm strength. And I remind the public that tropical storm winds are from 39 miles per hour up to about 73 miles per hour. Given that the center of the system will make landfall way to the north of us, and the radii or the radius to which tropical storm force winds extend do not come all the way down to Belize, I do not expect sustained tropical storm force winds, as I said previously, but we may have winds gusting to tropical storm within these bands, and these will be mostly affecting the north of the country in terms of the strength of those winds. Otherwise, the bands outside of that area can have squally and gusty winds, heavy rainfall, strong thunderstorm activity, intense lightning, but we do not expect gusts, or I should say, based on the location, these areas may not see gusts up to tropical storm force, but they will see gusty winds, which can cause structural damage, and even sometimes you can have trees being uprooted or branches coming off trees. And we do know that within thunderstorms, sometimes we have microbursts that can result in roof damages, even if you're not near the center. So certainly these are some of the impacts that we may see as the system makes landfall north of our border.
As for rainfall, nothing has changed as the system is expected to dump several inches of rain here in the north.
Again, I repeat, we do not expect sustained tropical storm force winds. We do keep the tropical storm watch from Belize to the northward, including the islands. In the case that we may have winds gusting to tropical storm force within these bands, we do expect heavy rainfall up to about 4 to 6 inches with locally higher values. I did mention this morning that the GFS model was underestimating the rainfall potential from the system, and based on what I'm seeing on radar, that is indeed the case, because we're seeing much more rainfall occurring than the model was showing us. So we did err on the side of caution and go for those 4 to 6 inches with local higher values. One last hazard that I had mentioned before is in terms of rough sea conditions. We still expect that to happen, especially during showers and thunderstorms. We expect seas to become rough because of the winds, but also we do expect that the swells generated by Beryl will be propagating towards our area, increasing the wave heights. And so definitely there is some hazard out there for mariners, and we do have a small craft warning in effect. That is to tell mariners that if you are not in safe harbor, to seek so as soon as possible. If you are in safe harbor, to remain there until after the passage of the system.
With torrential rains expected, a flood warning has been issued for Belize and Corozal districts.
We're not only speaking about the major river systems that are in these districts, but we're also speaking about tributaries, meaning rivers, creeks, and streams that are associated with those larger river systems. We expect urban flooding to occur on those systems.
As for Nemo, it remains on high alert.
Our coordinators across the country, and in particular in the northern districts and in the Key Cocker area and San Pedro area, remain in close communication with community leaders, particularly in these, the Corozal and Orange Walk district. We remain in close communication with our river monitors, with all the village and town and city leaders to closely monitor these water levels and to update these as necessary. All our EOCs are activated, and they continue to prepare for Hurricane Beryl if necessary. Particularly those areas in the north are on heightened alert. for tonight. We we have done our restocking and our warehouses are prepared. Again, like as I reported, shelters will be opened in some parts of the countries, particularly in the north, in preparation for the effects of Beryl. These will be available to people who may need this service in the next few hours.
As the country prepares to face some of the effects of Hurricane Beryl later tonight, this morning the government engaged in an emergency cabinet meeting to get an update on preparations from the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO. Following that meeting, the media spoke to NEMO Minister Honorable Andrew Perez, who spoke briefly about the meeting, adding that while Belize's outlook is currently good in terms of possible effects of Hurricane Beryl, Belizeans should still remain informed and as prepared as possible. Deputy Prime Minister Honorable Cordell Hyde is also encouraging Belizeans to maintain an updated hurricane plan as we are only at the start of the season and may face further potential threats later in the year.
Well, we know where we live. We know we're at the risk of hurricanes every year, and it would seem to us that we are at more risk than we've ever been. That this season may be one for the ages, and so we have to do everything that is possible within our financial means, within our resources to be prepared. There's a lot more things we have to do. I think the last week has really shown us where we are, where we have shortcomings, where we need to be better, where we need to coordinate better, where we can plan better, we can communicate better. Because I think people, whilst our professionals, the people at NEMO, the people at the Met Office, did a wonderful job in terms of communicating to people, still, some people may not have gotten the accurate message and may have still gotten more excited than they needed to be. And so we have to look at all those things and make sure that we are prepared. And in this time, kind of go overboard in terms of trying to make sure that the shelters are ready, the shelters that need just a little bit of repairs, make sure that we get those up and running, make sure that we, where they may need more, that we try to find resources to do those. Because in times like these, you can't have enough shelters. And also coordinate better with public officers, coordinate better with our ministries, coordinate better with the public. But it's a learning lesson, man. And, as we have seen with our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, if you get a really, really big hurricane, only God can help us. So we just have to do all we can within our resources and within our human power to be as prepared as possible.
The Deputy Prime Minister today also confirmed that discussions had in Cabinet about contributions towards our Caribbean brothers and sisters who were affected by Hurricane Beryl.
There will be an announcement shortly in terms of us making a contribution to a couple of the countries. We have to do that. We have no choice. An official announcement will be forthcoming. I wish we could do a whole lot more. Because where they are is just.
It could be us at any point in time.
Precisely.
Beaches, housing stock as well last.
Well, we got a dry Hurricane Lisa recently, and you see the mess that left us in. We didn't get a whole lot of water then. It's just scary to read and to see what these people are going through. We can't possibly do enough to help them, and so we'll make a start. And hopefully this season is spare the rest of us.
In Karazala, a house went up in flames last night. The fire started in the backyard and quickly spread to the entire house. An entire family is now without a roof over their head as Hurricane Beryl threatens Belize. Elmer Cornejo tells us more in the following story.
A family in Chula Vista residential area in Corozal town lost their home and belongings in a fire. The inferno swallowed the wooden house last night around 7:30 p.m. 57-year-old James Herman Locke had just left his home to go grocery shopping at a nearby store when the fire broke. While the police and fire department responded quickly, there was nothing that could have been done to save the home or its belongings. Robert Locke is the brother of the fire victim. He told us what happened.
I'm out by the China to get to an emergency grocery like how the storm supposed to hit with today. And this was about 7:45 last night when I heard the engines and looking at this area, saw what part I had the engine, song they come from, I noticed bright light in the sky and smoke. And I said, what, that fire that's somewhere in my area? If that's not my house, that's somewhere around my house. So I hurry off on the channel, and by the time I got to this area, I noticed that, wow, that me, older brother house, they on fire. So I came by, hauled out my phone and started to record the, the burning of the house, and the guys and done the scene, the firefighters and the scene, to try to out what they could, the house, and try to save what they could save.
Anything was saved?
Nothing. If you could notice, back I saw everything, this thing I gone down to nothing. Nothing saved. Everything so far. TV, fridge, fan, everything, bed, everything burned up. Nothing. They were not able to save. I think out forward they look for some assistant right now. Me and him if we get together from this morning, but I've been busy in the kitchen with my lead job. So, but he is out right now trying to find some help, I would believe.
He lived with his family here, or he lived?
He and his girlfriend lives here.
Where was the girlfriend at the time of the fire?
Well, what I understand, she was inside the house. She had just gotten out the bathroom in the back where they bathe, and according to what I understand, before my brother left to the store, leave her in the bathroom bathing, he had left a little far away. He was burning some garbage in the back. I don't know if anything blew away from there and got to the house. So she got out the bathroom, according to what I understand, and went inside. And when she noticed the back of the house is on fire, she ran out and the neighbors, and she yelled for help, and the neighbors came by with buckets and started throwing water to try to out the house, but negative.
When we arrived at the scene this morning, we found only remnants of the family called home once. While the fire department is investigating the cause of fire, the Locke family is looking forward to rebuilding. How and when is another question.
This is the time. We are always putting people in power. This is the time to make your contact your area reps and these politicians with the emergency release fund and get some help. Nemo and them guys, I'm expecting to come in. I used to work with Nemo and the Belize Red Cross, and I know how we used to operate. Time like this, that when they step in and do their thing, So I had to tell him if just relax, not lose hope, because assistance to come. We know that this Corozal, and we could rely upon our politicians. So far as I know, so tell her no worry yourself. And get back on house. It might not be, as big as the one he had. He had a nice sized house. He make out a different kind of material from plywood to siding to cellotex. And, poor people, right? So we build up how we could build up. The thing is that the things ain't on the inside that they last. They're not the more, valuable.
I just went to buy like 15-20 minutes, and when I came back, my house is already burned to the ground. And I just want the people to know that I didn't have an insurance on my house, and I would like whosoever who would like to help me or donate me with something so that I could probably build something or get back something. I will really appreciate it. And my phone number is 623-4509. Thank you very much. I feel I'm very sad, and I do not have much to say at this time.
Fortunately, no one was injured in the blaze. Elmer Cornejo, Ctv3 News.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
The Orange Walk Clinical Lab Summer Promotion 2024 is here. Get your summer promotion on glucose, cholesterol, triglyceride, and hemoglobin for only $20. Also, fantastic promotions on prostate PSA for only $50. We also have other packages on promotion. We also provide DNA paternity testing. We take this opportunity to inform the general public in the Orange Walk District that we are an approved NHI lab service provider. So for all your NHI lab tests, just visit your NHI medical provider and visit us at the Orange Walk Clinical Laboratory. We take care of all your NHI lab tests. Results are provided the same day. Come visit us on number 20 San Antonio Road, Orange Walk Town. Call for details at 322-0423 or 600-2727. Call 630-1479. Remember, don't wait for symptoms. Check your health today. The Orange Walk Clinical Laboratory.
Hurricane Beryl grazed Jamaica, leaving behind great destruction. The Category 3 hurricane is now heading towards the Yucatan Peninsula, where it is forecasted to make landfall. Belize remains vigilant, and NEMO continues to urge everyone to remain focused and prepared. Carazal is posed with the largest threat, and today we found that the people have heard the call of NEMO to prepare before the storm. Elmer Cornejo was around town and has prepared the following story.
Hurricane Beryl is still considered a powerful hurricane, though it has downgraded to a Category 3 phenomenon. Yesterday, it battered through the edges of Jamaica, causing havoc in its exit and claiming at least one life. It is now forecasted to make its way to the Yucatan Peninsula, threatening tropical storm force winds and intense rains over northern Belize. In Carazal today, shops were closed for business. Houses were secured tightly with hurricane shutters and plywood sheets. Restaurants would take no risk and also cease the service to the public. The Carazal Town Council's operation building was being secured earlier today. Major banks brought down their shutters, leaving only their ATMs operational. In the case of the Carazal Police Formation, the officer in charge, Elroy Carcoma, told us the police is ready to keep citizens safe.
We are working closely with the community. We are part of the Carazal Demo Committee, and we have officers that are there, and we work closely based on what is related to them in our area. Basically, we look after protection of life and property, and we are encouraging people just as to follow the news to ensure that when the time for evacuation is given for them to move, and when they need to go to the shelters, to follow the rules of the shelters. For Carazal Police Formation, our police officers are set and ready. We know that we might have to have some officers working the 12-hour shift who will be posted at these different shelters that will be opening if anyone will be using them. We note that over the past weekend we had a little weather that caused raising of waters within different areas, and so we are working closely with the emergency committee to ensure that we can patrol within those areas as well to ensure safety for the community. Police officers from Carazal Formation will be, along with other police officers from across the country, will be engaged in duties during this time. I must say that we also have support from the police headquarters, where we will have some officers coming to assist the human resources that we have here.
I know you have some officers that are not necessarily from Carazal but work here. What about them?
The officers that are not necessarily from Carazal but work here were given time before, because we kept track of the information. They were given that opportunity to go home and secure their homes before returning back to Carazal to do the duties that we are mandated to do as police officers. What happened is that we just should, in case the gas stations are out, and we cannot leave our public at large just like that because we don't have fuel readily available, and so we have a few that was put aside just for that purpose for the vehicles. We also have made sure that all our vehicles are fueled and ready to deal with the situation that is arises.
In regards of detainees, the department is doing what it can in order to make sure everyone is safe before and after the storm.
We just recently went over our list of personnel that we have detained here, and those that are able to be bailed will be given bail, police bail, JP bail, and those that had to be taken to the prison was taken to the prison. The few one or two that remain here because we are unable to give bail, we will be looking at it and make a decision where they have to stay. Then we will ensure that they are safely kept with us until after the storm.
We drove to the Pueblo Nuevo ferry only to find out there was no one at work today, and the ferry had been secured on this side of the new river. We did find boats anchored to mangroves. In Corozal town, the owner of the vessels dubbed Otro Loco had secured his boat before rushing home to his family. Everything indicated Hurricane Beryl is being taken seriously. The red flag was raised at the Corozal police station, indicating Hurricane Beryl was rather closer to Belize. In terms of security, officers are already posted over the bay and are charged with working through the storm in the need of response.
We have police officers already in that area, and where the needs arise and we need to get other officers, we work closely with our partner in Orange Walk, and we can get officers within that area.
Beryl, which was downgraded after midnight to a Category 3 storm, has killed at least 8 people in total. It is on its way towards Belize and Mexico tonight, and CARCOM says we must work together in order to get through this unprecedented storm.
Well, prevention is better than cure, and we must always be prepared. I know it's difficult at times and the rush and everything, but I would ask everyone to be patient, to put their plans into effect and work together. Listen, do not listen to rumors. Listen to what the NEMO is sending out, and be vigilant. If you don't need to be out there, don't be out there. Stay in your homes. Let's weather the storm out together. Let's work together as a community to make our area as safe as possible during this storm and after the storm.
You are asked to remain vigilant. You are asked to remain vigilant.
Of note is that apart from the Pueblo Nuevo ferry that closed at 10 a.m. today, the San Esteban ferry was also closed at the same time due to the approaching threat of Hurricane Beryl. Another successful week of the annual Orange Walk Central Summer Sports Camp came to an end today with the distribution of medals to the over 120 participants. The camp, which was carried out from the 1st to the 4th of July, was sponsored by Honorable John Briceño, who visited participants this morning and even worked out with them.
Today marked the last day for the Orange Walk Central Sports Camp 2024. The camp was another successful undertaking with over 120 participants coming together from all areas of Orange Walk Town. Since Monday, children have been training in sports such as football, volleyball, basketball, karate, and for the first time this year, rugby. Before the official ceremonies to mark the closing of the one-week event, however, the kids took a break from their training to participate in a workout session along with main sponsor Prime Minister John Briceño, who took time out of his busy schedule to be with the kids this morning. As the annual summer camp celebrates 30 years of working with the kids in Orange Walk, Prime Minister Briceño shared how emotive it was to see that the children are still interested in the summer camp despite the many years it has been taking place.
It's a wonderful feeling, spending time with kids. Unfortunately, today I've called for an emergency cabinet meeting because we were not too sure how the hurricane, the truck, would have moved to us or away from us. Thank God it's moving away from us, but we still expect a lot of rains. But I'd love to spending more time with them. I was talking to someone and I said probably your dad or your mom was here many years ago, and so it goes to show how long we've been doing it. But to come out and do some exercises and I can tell the children, it's a wonderful opportunity for them to be able to make new friends, not only from like Macolada School, from St. Peter's, from Louisiana, from whichever school that they may be here. And I want to thank also all the facilitators, Mr. Ramos, and especially Mr. Ramos and Mr. Chavarria, Mark Markey, who helped to organize the executive, and also, of course, to all our sponsors that have made this, help us to make this a reality, and for this to become a memorable experience to these children.
Longtime camp coordinator Ben Ramos today also shared some of the significant growth within the summer camp as it celebrates its 30th anniversary and looks forward to engaging more sporting disciplines in the years to come.
Even though we had the hurricane and so on, we had a mind, let's do it as much as we can. If we can go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's okay. And we managed to do up to Thursday. I'm very happy that the response from the parents was good. I am definitely sure that if we even had this hurricane, we would have gotten more. We went to 127 participants, and it was so nice to see the little kids actually coming there, enjoying themselves. Like for them, there's no cares in the world. All they want to do is come and play football, bounce basketball, throw over the volleyballs, and we even had rugby, tag X. We had a new sport, and it came as a surprise for us. But the kids found out what it is, and we had at least 6 participants in that area. We want to put in new sports, but the logistics behind putting new sports it's very expensive. And imagine having to give snacks every day to over 100 children every morning. The tokens that we give and the general logistics is not so easy. So we are hoping that we can introduce new ones, that we can put probably softball if we get the equipment, track and field. Track and field is the mother of all sports. And that would be one that would take a lot of planning. But if we can get somebody who can work with it, we would surely do it, embrace it.
Also present during today's official closing ceremonies were Mayor Logic Shepherd and his team of councillors. Reporting for Ctv3 News, Norma Ruiz.
One of the recurring issues which are reported particularly during the times of storm is the matter of price gouging. This time around, these reports were not missing, and various reports were coming from San Pedro in particular, where residents were being charged as much as $5 for a 16-ounce loaf of bread. Other reports were also forthcoming from different places across the country of stores raising the prices of essential materials like plywood, which many use to secure their houses and place of business. Particularly speaking about the matter in San Pedro, today area representative for Belize Rural South, Honorable Andrew Paris, spoke about steps being taken to help combat this issue on the island.
With the entire EOC management team here, that was a big issue, not only with the price of bread that was being sold at $5, and it was a regular size 16-ounce loaf, it looks like, and the receipt shows that it is $5. I don't want to aim or isolate that specific business location, but we have been aware of this specific location actually having high prices with these. So certainly we're looking at it, not only with food prices, but also the issue of certain unscrupulous business people. And hardware stores selling the plywood, I think the half-inch was going for $110, ridiculous prices. What we're saying, and we were it's illegal as well, of course, to do that, but also it's unethical, man. You don't do that to a community that is needed at the same time. So we know who they are. The mayor and I were very much discussing that. We are going to be visiting these people, and also to further mention that the Bureau of Standards, we're actively engaged with them, and they are going to actually to avoid this. It happens all the time. This is not the only time we're seeing this, but especially in this extraordinary times where the storms we are under threat, no? But the point is this: we are looking by getting trained 8 people. We have gotten the advice already from the Bureau of Standards. It is we're going to get 8 people and 2 for Kikaka to go through that training, so we have them permanently staffed here in San Pedro and Kikaka, because it's too much. We got to put a stop to it, and the evidence on that one was clear. $5 for a loaf of bread, unacceptable.
We understand that approximately 4,328 people have left the islands of Kikaka and San Pedro. Some 1,500 left via air to seek shelter outside the islands. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Experience the iconic tournament of Copa America.
Messi puts it in.
Witness each goal of the Euro Cup. And live the excitement of the CONCACAF games.
On target, and it's in. It's in the back of the net.
Available only on Centaur's Express Plus app. Call 380-101 and sign up today. Express Plus app. Streaming entertainment.
The Yucatan Peninsula at this hour is preparing to contend with the effects of Hurricane Beryl, which is expected later tonight as a Category 2 or weak Category 3 storm. As our neighbors prepare for heavy winds and rains, an announcement was made earlier today of the closure of the Mexican border with Belize. The official closure of the border took effect as of 6:30, and late this evening we spoke to Belize's ambassador to Mexico, Honorable Oscar Arnold, who says that while official confirmation on that decision has not been forthcoming, it would have been made out of an abundance of caution on the side of the Mexican authorities. Ambassador Arnold, however, didn't confirm that the Belize border remains open.
We have not received any official information in writing from immigration authorities in Mexico City or in Quintana Roo of the closure of the border. We had heard it as well, and I think we saw it on social media. My discussions with Ms. Casanova, who is the border commander for immigration on the Belize side, she has informed me that as of 4 o'clock today, the decision that has been taken on the Belize side is that they will reduce staffing. They will work with a skeleton staff. But the border on the Belize side will remain open and functional. I think the eye of Hurricane Beryl will be passing about 200 kilometers north of Chetumal. I believe it would be out of an abundance of caution to protect assets and to protect, I guess, their human resource, that decision was taken by the Mexicans if, in fact, they will be closing the border at 6:30 today. I would want to think that as soon as the all clear is given, then they will probably open up their border stations if that is the case. Again, we haven't had anything official. All that I'm seeing is what is being reported on their social media platforms.
In the event that there is an emergency situation that requires transport to Mexico, Ambassador Arnold says the channels of communications remain open and will be worked on a case-by-case basis.
We do have the lines of communication open in the event there's an emergency and there's someone that has to be transported. That is something that we would probably have to look at on a case-by-case basis and be in touch with the authorities on the other side of the border on a case-by-case basis. Again, from my information, the eye of the storm will pass almost 200 kilometers north of Chetumal. And in that event, I personally, and again, I'm no expert, I don't think that that area will be severely affected enough where we will see a prolonged closure of the border on the Mexican side. I know on the Belize side, depending on the activities and people traveling to the free zone and trying to get home back and forth, I believe that is the decision why we will have a reduced number of people there. But like I said, the border commander has informed that our border on the Belize side will remain functioning and open.
Similarly to Belizeans who have been preparing for the effects of Hurricane Beryl, Ambassador Arnold says our neighbors to the north have also heeded the warning of Hurricane Beryl and the preparations have been underway.
What we've seen and information that we've gathered on the ground since Monday, there's been an increase in the number of people in the supermarkets in Chetumal, Chedwari, Walmart, Sam's, and that sort of thing. So I know that the population in that area were heeding the warnings and they were stocking up on supplies. There was also a level of boarding up and securing windows and that sort of thing that we saw, some photos that we had received. But I would think that the regular preparation, stocking up on supplies, looking at the eventuality of maybe losing electricity for a few hours, that sort of thing, would be adhered to. Our area, Belize, the entire Maya Riviera area, all the way to Yucatan, are well versed in what to do in the event of hurricanes.
In terms of electricity supply from Mexico to Belize, Ambassador Arnold says discussions have been underway with BEL and are confident that there will not be any significant disruption of power to Belize in the face of Hurricane Beryl.
I know that people were a little bit nervous on the Belize side because they know that we purchase an amount of power from Mexico. The power that is generated in Yucatan is then sent to Belize through transmission line. Speaking with personnel at BEL this morning, they are very comfortable that the infrastructure on the transmission line that bring that electricity to Belize City can withstand up to maybe a category 2 and even category 3 in some instances. So they're very comfortable that we won't have a disruption. Obviously, if there's blown transformers or maybe if a pole is down and that sort of thing, it may affect us. But they're reasonably certain that we may not have any prolonged disruption of power supply.
Based on the latest advisory, Hurricane Beryl is still a Category 3 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour and is expected to further weaken before it makes landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula somewhere to the north of Belize within the next 12 hours. With Hurricane Beryl expected to make landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula, there is concern about the possible impacts to our electricity system, primarily when it comes to the supply from CFE Mexico. But according to BEL, there is nothing to worry about because CFE's transmission system, to which our grid is connected, should be well capable of physically withstanding the strong winds from a Category 3 hurricane. BEL says, and we quote, "Our experience with CFE in the past is that, for the most part, their supply to Belize has held up very well during hurricanes. However, there are many other factors associated with hurricanes such as lightning, flying debris, and mudslides that can cause transmission system outages. In any case, we currently have sufficient in-country capacity to meet peak demand if CFE is unable to supply us with power. There is, of course, always the chance that things do not work out as planned. For example, excessive rains could affect the output from the bagasse-fueled power plants, Belcogen and Santander. But even if this happens, we should still have just sufficient generation capacity to get by. We are actually more concerned about the impacts of lightning and wind on our own transmission and distribution system during the passage of the hurricane to the north of us. Although we have done much preventative line clearing during this year so far and have secured exposed critical equipment in our substations and generating stations, some parts of our system remain vulnerable to extreme weather events. While we will do our best to maintain reliable supply of power throughout the passage of the storm, we ask all of you, our customers, to bear patience with us as we do all we can to keep the lights on during this time. Our employees have been engaged in year-round preparations for what has started off as a busy hurricane season. Many are working on shift or on call during the passage of the storm. We are most grateful for their hard work and their dedication. BEL joins all Belizeans in praying for all those who have been or are now in the path of this dangerous storm. We have already reached out to our fellow Caribbean electric utilities to offer our assistance in restoring electricity in their respective islands if needed. We thank all our customers for their continued support and wish you and your families safe keeping through the storm as we continue to serve you. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast as soon as the all clear is given. We also ask you to remain in tune as we monitor Beryl as it makes landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula and begins affecting us with tropical storm force winds. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at Ctv3BelizeNews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at Facebook.com Ctv3 Believe News or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News TV. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening.